My name is Tiana, and this is the story of how my stepsister stole the guy I liked, and how I made sure she would never forget prom night. Not because of the dress she wore or the crown she wanted, but because of the way I ruined everything she thought she had. Now I know that sounds dramatic, and maybe it is. But when you've spent your whole life being invisible, watching someone else steal every spotlight, you start to realize that sometimes the only way to be seen is to stop being silent. I've never been the popular girl. I don't say that with bitterness, it's just a fact. While other girls were mastering winged eyeliner and TikTok dances, I was buried in books, chasing scholarships, and trying to stay out of Sasha's way. Sasha is my stepsister. We're the same age. Well, she's 2 months older, which she never lets me forget. But we couldn't be more different. She's loud where I'm quiet, confident where I'm cautious. She walks like the world belongs to her. And honestly, most of the time, it does. The first time I realized how far Sasha would go to get what she wants was the day Eli transferred to our school. Eli was the kind of boy who didn't even need to try. He had messy dark curls, soft brown eyes, and this quiet intensity that made everyone want to know him. He didn't talk much, but when he did, people listened, including me. He got assigned to my AP English class, and by some stroke of luck, we ended up seated next to each other. At first, I thought he barely noticed me. But one day after class, he asked if I could help him with an essay. He looked nervous, almost embarrassed, which made him even more endearing. That study session turned into another, and then another. Before I knew it, we were texting every night. First about school, then about music, our favorite books, our families. I found out he had a little sister he adored, that he wanted to be a writer, that he hated the sound of people chewing. I started falling, hard. I didn't tell anyone, not right away. I wanted to keep it to myself, like a secret treasure. But one night, Sasha and I were watching a movie. One of those rare nights when we weren't pretending each other didn't exist. And I mentioned him. I said something simple like, "I've been texting with Eli a lot. He's actually really cool." She glanced at me and smiled. "That's cute. That's it." That's all she said. 2 days later, he stopped replying. At first, I made excuses for him. Maybe he lost his phone. Maybe he was busy. But then I saw them, her and Eli, at lunch, sitting together, laughing, her hand brushing against his arm like it belonged there. I froze. It was like watching someone take your diary and read it out loud in front of a crowd. Later that night, I confronted her. I asked her straight up, "Are you talking to Eli now?" She smirked. "Wow, you really thought he liked you?" My stomach dropped. "We were talking, every day. You knew that." "Oh, please, Tiana. He was just being nice. He probably felt sorry for you." That's when it hit me. She didn't even want him. She just couldn't stand the idea of me having something she didn't. It wasn't about Eli. It was about control. And that's when I decided I wasn't going to let her win. You see, Sasha had been planning prom night since the day she walked into high school. She had a Pinterest board for her dress, a list of photographers she wanted to use, and a fantasy of being crowned prom queen like she was the star of some teen movie. It was her dream, her perfect ending, and I was going to destroy it. But not in the way you think. I didn't key her car or ruin her dress. I didn't spread lies or pick a fight. I played it smart. First, I made myself disappear. I stopped talking about Eli. I went back to being the quiet, invisible girl. Meanwhile, I watched, I listened, and I started collecting names. Names of people Sasha had stepped on. Girls she had embarrassed. Boys she used and ghosted. People she bullied, laughed at, humiliated. Turns out she had enemies. A lot of them. I started talking to them. Gently, casually. I didn't tell them what I was planning, not yet. I just reminded them of what she did. How she made them feel. How no one ever stood up to her because she was pretty, popular, and dangerous. And then came the turning point. 2 weeks before prom, Sasha had a party. Her inner circle was there, and I tagged along only because our parents made her invite me. I wasn't supposed to hear what she said, but I did. I was walking by her room to get a charger when I heard her voice. "She still thinks she has a shot at being prom queen," she laughed. "Like, babe, the only crown Tiana's getting is for most likely to be forgotten." They all laughed. That night, I didn't cry. I smiled. Because now, I had fuel. I spent the next 2 weeks executing my plan. I posted subtle comments on group chats. I dropped tiny reminders about things Sasha had said and done. I didn't even have to exaggerate. The truth was enough. People started whispering, changing their minds. And then came Eli. He caught me one afternoon by my locker, said he'd been meaning to text me, that he was sorry, that things got weird. I looked at him, really looked at him. He wasn't a monster. Just a boy who got caught in the web of a girl who always got what she wanted. And maybe, just maybe, he regretted it. He asked if I was going to prom. I said yes. He asked if I had a date. I said no. He hesitated, then said, "Maybe I'll see you there." I didn't need him to ask me. I didn't need a prince. I wasn't the side character anymore. Prom night arrived. Sasha wore red. Of course she did. A fitted gown that sparkled like it cost more than my entire closet. Her hair was curled to perfection, makeup flawless. She walked in with Eli on her arm like she owned the place. But the vibe was off. People looked at her, but not with admiration. More like curiosity, disbelief. The whispers were louder now. She noticed. I could tell. She tightened her grip on Eli's arm. I wore a simple navy blue dress, hair in soft curls. No date, no expectations. But I walked in with my head high. The night dragged on, music, dancing, small talk. Sasha tried to hold it all together, but I could see the cracks forming. And then, the announcement. "Your 2025 prom queen is..." A pause. "Tiana Brooks." Silence, then claps, then cheers. My name being chanted. I walked to the stage slowly, deliberately. I didn't look at Sasha, not yet. They placed the crown on my head. I took the mic, and I looked at her. Sasha stood frozen, eyes wide. Eli beside her, stunned. I smiled. "Thank you," I said. "For once, I feel seen." The crowd erupted. Not because of the crown, but because of the shift. The power wasn't hers anymore. Afterward, she tried to act like it didn't matter, that she didn't care. But I saw her in the bathroom later. Mascara smudged, lipstick faded, and for the first time, she looked small. I didn't ruin her dress. I didn't fight her. I beat her at her own game. And I didn't have to be loud to do it. All I had to do was stop being silent.